Yo. Okay. I added a few things. I updated some sounds like footstep loudness and other shit. Fall off distance so you can hear from farther away. I updated a couple little, just tiny little things. So there's a thumbnail and shit whenever you open the game. So like, here I'll show you. Hold. And then I also added pages dropping on death. So when you die, you lose the pages that you picked up. So you have a default set of pages, but whenever you die, if you've picked up extras, then you lose those on your death because that's the point. You kill someone and you get their pages. So the window's broken. It's stuck on my other monitor. I'm just waiting for it to finish loading. The standalone shit takes forever in Unreal. Oh, it opened twice. Oh, that would explain it. It's because it was in standalone and I was opening two. That makes sense. Okay. So I did another thing. I added a little basic image because I was tempted to mimic what I already have here. But oh, well, you don't have it. Oh, yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. Okay. The team selection widget. It was going to be something like this, and maybe I will. But for now, I'm focused on functionality, not cosmetic extra shit. So for now, there's just an image. And then I brought my piano home. So, because I normally have that at work. And I'm done with it now, so I need to bring it back tomorrow. I forgot to bring it back the last 2 days. Fucking stupid. But I basically just messed around over the period of like, I don't know, 2 hours. And was just trucking around playing stuff. And then, really most of the time was editing. I basically played for like 15 minutes and then just recorded a little bit here. And then was like, I could do something a little different. And then recorded a little bit there and got like 5 or so different songs, just little thingies, and then did them. So there's one. Oh, and then it turns out that my guitar rig in the Reaper recording software, because I have guitar rig, and I can implement that in Reaper because I have guitar rig from my uncle. It's a digital audio workstation to apply effects to your guitar, which I don't normally play on the computer because it's a pain, kind of a pain. It's a pain. But it turns out I can apply that to any sound that comes into Reaper. And it turns out that I have a 1/4 inch cable for my guitar. I just plug that into my piano and plug that into the same little audio interface I have. And then turns out I can apply my guitar effects to the piano. So there was one that had some reverb and wizardy kind of sounding stuff, and I liked that better than the clean. Like, this is the clean. I like playing minor stuff, and it's kind of cursed. I'm not very good at piano. I've played a little bit, but I don't know. I normally play just minor, kind of scary stuff. I don't know. I like dissonance, and I fuck around a little bit. But and then there's like a wah wah loop kind of thing, and I just applied that. I kind of like that, and then there was a similar one. Actually, I think that was the same effect. And then at the end, I plugged in the guitar, and I put some stupid little. I don't even know. It sounds like what a I don't know, it's like an island kind of sound, an island stoner kind of sound. But I just made 5 little songs first take. No, not really any editing or anything. I just cut them and it would sound like shit without the effects, but whatever. I just left the effects there. I mean, it's not that terrible, but it's pretty bad. There's no sheet music or anything to it. I just fucking played around, played whatever I just kind of felt like in the moment. That's how I prefer playing. It's the most fun to me. So I added music, and I added an ambient sound so that whenever you start the game, it automatically starts because there's an auto. Wait, what? Oh, auto activate is what it's called. It has an auto activate, and I just have that set to true. So whenever the game starts, in your main menu player controller spawns, the level initializes, which initializes the ambient sound, so it starts playing. And then somehow this sound cue doesn't actually exist anywhere. It somehow exists in the level. There's no folder for the level, I don't think. Like, what does this look like? Assets? No, this is just no, this just opens where this is in the Explorer. I don't know. So somehow it comes with a sound cue, or I think I added one, I created one, something like that. You're able to like create an yeah, you just create a new asset, but I don't actually know where it is. I have no idea. I don't know. Ambient sound? Cute. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know where the thing is. I have no idea. So I just double clicked it, and then it allowed me to edit it. Surprisingly, I thought it was going to prompt me to create a new one, or it would start one and put it somewhere, but I don't know. Somehow it just lives in the level. Fuck it. Okay. And then initially I set a loop. Actually, by default, it comes with a loop because it's an ambient sound. And then I put in a random. Excuse me. But then I kind of like this dissonant one the most. It sounds the most like this music I've been kind of obsessed with for a little bit. The music of the King's Field game. It's like the first Souls-like. Well, it's not. I guess it's not really Souls-like, but like the first game that. What's even the studio that makes Dark Souls? What is it? Soul? Who made Elden Ring? Who makes Bloodborne? Hold on, it's right there. Bro, it's okay, whatever. I'll remember it later. Doesn't matter. I've never really played them, so it makes sense. But fuck. FromSoft. There we go. So, or From Software or something like that, but from Soft Games or something like that, right? So, I kind of like the game starting on the same sound effect every time, especially because the quality of these kind of varies. So, I just put them in an order that seems okay. So, we start with the dissonant, and then we have kind of a fun one, and then we have a interesting one. It's kind of filler, and then the guitar, and then the clean version. Same thing, just no effects. See, it's just so much better with the effects. It's just better. So, and it doesn't change my playing. My playing was fine. I just added that, and it doesn't change the pitch. It just puts this reverb and craziness on it. It's interesting. So I added that. So there's music now, and then I mean it's kind of a fully fleshed experience now. I mean you start. I don't think I'm gonna be able to add in the rendering RHI thread changings. I can't change the DirectX mode in the game via Blueprint because that doesn't exist. And I don't really want to fuck with the source code because my Visual Studio is still barely hanging on. So I'm gonna have to do a fresh reinstall and stuff on the next Unreal game that I make. I'm excited for that because I want to do more C++ if I can. So there's music. I updated the menu a little bit, but whatever, it kind of is what it is. I'm not gonna have a settings menu here because I kind of like the old games that don't. I looked at Kingsfield. There's no audio menu. You just open the game, and that's it. There's no settings here because I already implemented all the settings in here. And the problem is that the widget exists and it's all one widget, and it has a whole bunch of buttons and stuff in it, and a widget switcher with 4 separate main like parent widgets. Excuse me. What I technically should do, the best practice would be for me to take those main widgets that the widget switcher is switching on. I'll just go there real quick. One sec. Here's what I mean. So we have this widget switcher, and we have the separate setting pages that are these parent vertical boxes. Right? Technically, this menu box should be its own widget. That way I can open it whenever I want. Same with this, same with this, same with this, same with this. That way, when I'm outside of the game, I don't have to have this game mode. I don't have to have this. I don't have to have copy another version or anything. I can just create, or I could at least just create, I could just export this menu box, this main widget switcher as its own widget. I guess the solution actually would be to just leave this widget as is, and then I think I can actually just remove the game mode and then have a separate widget where I open this and then I slap the game mode on top of it. But I'm not going to fuck with that for now. It's fine. Basically, what you should do is make modular pieces of your widgets and keep them as separate widgets and implement event dispatchers so that they can talk to their parents, the widget that's containing them, so that you can have functionality be whatever you want. But I already implemented them in such a way that, and the other hard part is all the logic in here that updates values talks to the regular player, the main character. So when I adjust the sensitivity via these sliders, it goes and talks to the player. I don't want to have to make it talk to, I don't want to make a separate widget and have it talk to a separate thing. Really what should happen is these should talk to the game instance, your game, which should then talk to your save game, and your player just gets that info from the player controller, or gets that info from the game instance. And then that's it. And so whenever you spawn your character, it gets the info from the save game or the game instance, and you're good. So you can adjust the settings from the main menu, and they stay alive, and the settings exist because your player can access them. But I don't want to change how all that routes because it's not worth it. It's just not worth it. It's a waste of time. So I want to publish my game quick, go on to the next one, and use those to improve my next game and build it right from the ground up, or at least better from the ground up. It's not going to be right, but better. So, and this space is already used right here, so it doesn't matter. I'm just going to discard this change, honestly. I did some other little things. One issue with the maze map, and I also added more stuff. I added more rogue wizards, more NPCs. I added more boxes and crates and hidden stuff, not hidden stuff to find, but like breakables and interactables. I hid more of those around the map. There aren't traps. There aren't fucking like minotaurs and shit. They're just wizards because the main point is PvP. I don't want to go too wide. I just want to get this one good game loop. And so one issue with the maze is because it's so big, there's no way to really know if you're getting closer to the enemy's base. And it would be cool to know if you are. Same thing with the forest map. I don't want to have a UI where you can see the crystals through the map and you walk to them, because then you just walk in a straight line to the objective. That's boring. I want you to have to like search around and find stuff. A mini-map could be cool. I don't really want there to be a mini-map. I could almost add a page to the spell book or separately have a map just in general on the bottom, but I don't really want that. I don't know. I don't really know if I want the map. So, because Hall doesn't need a map, Forest doesn't need a map, and it's kind of cool to stumble around. Maze could be a map, but I also kind of like that it's difficult by not having it. So one option I chose was, by default, I need to rearrange the spells in the data table so that they spawn correctly in the book, but you have your light spell. Yeah? Oh, here we go. Light spawn. And normally it spawns yellow, but now I added a feature where it's not super frequent. I think it's 4 times a second. Yeah, so it's a cheap timer, doesn't execute often and doesn't do much often. It updates a value in your light's Niagara system. So the closer you are to a crystal, the more blue it'll get. So you'll be walking around and it'll be yellow for a long time. And then eventually it'll get, well, and honestly, I should probably start the threshold further out. I think I should actually, so that the closer you get, the more blue you get. But at this point, really, it doesn't need to get that much bluer, because if I'm this close to a crystal, I know where it is. So most of the bluing needs to happen further out. So I'm going to update the threshold, but that's a thing. So if you're in the maze, you imagine you're getting closer and closer around the corner, then... Oh, true. And you would notice it because your book is changing color. And you can just look up and see it. And I should also probably move that. Well, no, you can look up and see it. It doesn't need to be like right in the freaking way. I don't want it to become bothersome or like cumbersome. Like the light is in the fucking way all the time and you can't move it. So the light updates. Oh yeah, I'll show you the drop page logic now. So two things. There was a bug where the client, I guess I just didn't test this. You can spawn pages just as a debug thing. In the pages when they were spawned by the server, the client would see them with a fireball on them and not the magic missile, even though it's set to spawn them as magic missile. And the reason is because in the page asset itself, when I'm talking, I'm gonna do better about going to the things that I'm talking about. The default material for the page is the fireball. So when it's unable to get the value and it's unable to set the material, it just defaults to this fireball. So all I had to do was, well, actually I didn't. Basically it couldn't access the value because the server was setting the material of the object, but because this is a separate client and it's a material thing, materials don't automatically get replicated, so you have to either do it with a multicast event, so whenever you set the material, everyone sets it, or you could do the same thing by setting the variable that you're setting and you need to make a change for everybody, set it to rep notify. That way it generates a rep function, an on rep, so whenever the value is changed, it calls that function. So we set this material. When we create a page, we use the name, which is it's given when it is created, to search the data table for the material that it needs to be, so that if it's fireball, it finds the fireball material that we have in the data table. We save that, and then we actually apply that. Before, this was just applying it, but now it's setting this here, which we then use to apply in the rep notify. That fixed that, so the clients, the joining players, now see it correctly, so that the server can still handle all the logic. And then I added in the player a server event, because the server needs to do all the logic for spawning things, a death reset book event, where we have our spell book. I added a function called death reset book, and what that means is we need to check all the pages in the book, and for the pages that are default and shouldn't be dropped because they're bound to the book, when you spawn in with the level, you die, you don't want to lose every page, but you should have some that you spawn with by default, like a light, a fireball, a magic missile, a freeze, and a recover to heal. So like 5 main spells, maybe shield, but shield's pretty strong, so you probably should find that instead. So what do? For each page in the book, we check to see, is it a droppable page? If it's droppable, it's one that we picked up, then we should be able to drop it. And eventually, once we do all the dropping, then we just call the same function that initializes the book with the same default spells from scratch, and that gets rid of all the extra pages. So I could loop backwards and remove the pages, but it's easier to just reinitialize the thing. It's cheap, it's fine. So, and it only happens once when you die, and you don't die that often, so it's fine. So what is the actual dropping logic? Well, if it's a droppable page, we need to find from our book to the floor where we're going to actually drop the page. So we need to find the floor. So we just trace down 500 units because, well, I guess that's an issue. I'll just make this trace bigger. I'll do 1500 because if I'm in the air and I'm dropping it down, then it should spawn down there. It shouldn't spawn in the air, because then if you got launched by someone's fireball into the air and then someone else fireballed you into the air and then you died there, if you don't have a spell that launches you big time, then you have no way to get that unless you get fireballed by yourself and then someone else fireballs you to get there, but then you probably die anyway. So I'll just add that to increase it. And it isn't a function, so we'll integer action, please. Floor trace distance. No, it's an integer. Whoops. Okay. Initialize this with 1500. Split this vector, and we will subtract the floor trace distance. So we're going to look straight down, basically 15 meters, which is far, to find the floor. If you're any further up than that, okay, fuck it, it's fine. So we'll do that. We find the hit location, which will hit the floor. And then, so that the pages don't spawn in the ground, we add a little tiny offset, a little, whatever, we'll just say, excuse me, page spawn vertical offset. This will be called vertical offset to prevent pages from spawning in the floor. And 10 has been good so far. And plus 10. I did say that I was gonna discard whatever that change was. Fuck. What was it? I guess it was just that. Right? What else did I change? Anything crazy? Spellbook. Game menu. Did I do anything in here? I don't think so. It's fine. So. Alright, so we add a little vertical offset, but then we also run two little random things. It's just rolling a 60-sided die. It's not that crazy. Or 61 because 0 is possible. So we get two random integers instead of floats because floats are a lot more expensive. Normally twice as expensive. And we add those two random numbers to x and y. I don't want to just do one roll and add it to both because then that means if it's negative, I'm adding negative to the x and to the y. So I'm adding this way and this way. So if I'm ever adding to the x, I'm also adding this way. And if I'm ever adding to the y, then it's adding this way and this way. Basically what happens is all the spawns happen in two directions instead of it being random. The point of this is so that if I spawn a bunch of pages, I want them to kind of lay on top of each other, overlap each other-ish a little. I don't care about doing a random vertical thing so that they like stack. I just want them to not be on top of each other, inside each other perfectly. Because when you kill a guy who has a bunch of pages, you should know, oh shit, and then go and start picking them up. So that's what this is, so that they kind of spread out a little bit. They fan out. So then we save that location so that we can use, well, actually, don't end up, I was going to use that because initially I was playing a Sound 2D, but that doesn't play for everybody because when the server executes it. So instead I just added another audio component, gave it a page rip sound that I found online, and then I just sped it up in Audacity, and then gave it an attenuation so that it has a distance that it doesn't just pop out, it falls off. And then I added a has played rip sound. That way, if we're still looping, we shouldn't hear the rip sound for everything. I mean, I guess you could so that you hear the rip sound for every single page you rip out. But then that kind of spams the sound, especially if you're dropping like 10 pages. I don't know. So I just chose to do that. So I think this is probably better. That doesn't need to be so damn high up. Cool. So we play the rip sound once, and then we do this bool to make sure that, hey, have we not played the rip sound? Okay, well then play it. But if we already have played the rip sound, don't play it anymore. That way whenever you die, it plays one time. For example, oh, I guess you do have to die to do it. But yeah, sure, I'll show you real quick. Sure. All right, I'll just show you with two people because that's what I'm going to do anyways. There was an issue where the client wasn't seeing the pages being dropped. And I don't really know why. Because it's just a server event that spawns an actor that's replicated. So everybody should see it spawn. Whenever it gets destroyed, everyone should see it get destroyed. So, I don't really know. But I'll basically what happens is the player, whenever he dies, so there's this logic whenever you die, it's just this cleanup so that we remove any buffs or anything on you so that when you spawn, you have a fresh screen, you're back to square one. Literally back to square one now because you lose your pages too. And we call that server event. So the server, who owns everything, says, hey, book, drop all the pages that you need to, and then reinitialize yourself. All this logic is already executed by the server. Whenever the book is created in the beginning, it's already done by the server. And so that's really it. We're just calling the logic I just explained in the server. And it wasn't working for a little bit. And then it did. At one point, I deleted this because I thought that the logic for some reason just needed to be executed in the player because I was like, oh, the server event won't execute this logic because, or will, for everybody, the server is only executing this logic for the host, not the other people, because the host or the other people don't own this. No owning client owns this book. But this logic is called by the server event that is called by something that the server owns. The player. The player is owned by the client, and therefore the player can run a server event which just does its logic on the book. And that's it. And it ended up working. So I'll show you. So we can do team deathmatch. We'll do join the game. It'll take a second to search because again I added it to be safe search so that it finds the result and it gives you a description of why it didn't find what it's supposed to, or if you thought there was a server, etc. Whatever, doesn't matter. But I previously improved the search. Okay, so we've got 2 guys here. Alright, so I'm going to spawn some pages and then we'll see. Everyone can see the pages. Alright, I've picked them up. And we can see that they will be at the end of the book. Alright, everyone's good. Alright. And now, I'm going to kill myself. So, beam. 1, 2. And now the pages are on the ground. And they're all kind of fanned out. And now I have the pages as the server, and I'll do the opposite. So he'll spawn in, and now he'll check the end of his book. Doesn't have any of that spell anymore. I'm not going to say it, so it doesn't cast. And then I thought I saw it the other way, but regardless, he's dead now, and he lost a spell, so we're cool. And he gained the others from killing him. But now he's gonna spawn them. I don't know how that worked, but whatever. Beam. He's gonna go and he's gonna kill himself. And then respawn. And now the server sees him, everybody sees him. Boom, boom, boom. Wait, I just did the same shit. It's actually, the server needs to die. He needs to see it. Okay, so beam. 1, 2. Oh, and so we have the audio notification. And now, because he had all those pages, you picked all 6 of them up. Now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Cool. All right, good. Magic missile. Magic missile. Magic missile. Huh? Uh-oh. Now there's a bug. We can't cast multiple right now, so somehow the book is perfect, but I think something in the logic of the book is making it so those spells don't get cast. I wonder if it's the same. I'm hoping it's the same for the server too, because then it's just a logic error. Because like if I go to the first one, magic missile. Wait, what? Oh, okay, it's good. Wait, what? Magic missile. I don't know why it's switching. What's happening there? Magic missile. Magic missile. Magic missile. See, so I can't cast multiple times. But I should because I have multiple of that spell. And the proof is in the pudding. Beam. 1, 2. He's dead. I'm gonna go and collect all those pages. Alright, magic missile. 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 It's probably infinite actually, because by the time I say it 6 times at a decent speed, the first one will have come back from cooldown. I'm gonna do it to make sure that the stuff updates here though too. Magic missile. Magic missile. Magic missile. Magic missile. Magic missile. Magic missile. Alright, so yeah, so they all go on cooldown. We can see them coming back off of cooldown. So somehow on the client's end, there's still one issue, and it is that the process of casting a spell and searching to see if the spell is castable is somehow returning that it's not castable and not doing it. And then there was also the issue with the material. When I was casting the magic missile, it was changing to fireball for some reason. Like it was finding the wrong material, like something wasn't replicated. So it was searching for the material and it was defaulting to the first material instead. Not really sure why. So I gotta find that out. So I think that's probably it. So we'll say, what did I even do in this? What did I do? Did I do anything good here? I think I just like replaced magic numbers for death reset book with variables. I think that's basically all I did. And then, and then I'll add that issue so I can find it. Bug. Picking up extra pages, then dying, or well, actually, so how was it? We died and picked them up. So it's either just extra pages, period, doesn't work, or it's specifically, so it's either picking up, or we'll say client bug, either picking up extra pages doesn't allow us to cast spells multiple times, like the spell array isn't getting updated. Maybe the cooldown array needs to be reset somehow? Don't know. Either picking up extra pages doesn't, or after dying and losing extra pages, re-picking more up doesn't let us cast them. Also, when picking up extra magic missile pages from a dead player, casting magic missile once replaced the first magic missile page material with fireball. Not sure if the array is bugged, and seems like the magic missile cooldown page material isn't being found, or the name being passed to the page to get the right material isn't replicated. Maybe something to fix. And that was it. Yeah, really. So I just added that. So we'll do wizard defining. This guy has 2 extra pages. This guy has 10. The guy kills the guy with, or the guy with 2 kills the guy with 10 extra. Now he has 12 extra pages. And you can drop whichever ones you want by pressing G. So, which is a configurable keybind. But that's it. Now I have to fix that and then go to sleep. So, yepo.